Stop everything for a moment. Put the noise down. Let your spirit become still. This is not another voice trying to fill your Friday. This is an interruption from heaven, and if you felt a pull before you even understood why, that was your first sign. Do not rush past this. Do not treat this like background sound. God is not speaking to the crowd right now. He is speaking to the one who has been feeling pressed in the spirit. You did not arrive here by accident, and your attention is not being requested lightly. There is a reason this message found you on Friday. There is a reason your chest has felt tight. There is a reason your thoughts have been circling the same thing all week. Heaven has been trying to slow you down before you walk into something with an unsettled spirit. Listen carefully. Friday is not only a date on the calendar for you. It is a marker. It is a line. It is the moment where God begins separating noise from instruction, emotion from discernment, pressure from obedience, and fear from the voice that has been guiding you all along. You have been feeling it. You may not have said it aloud, but your spirit knows. Something has been different around you. The atmosphere has felt charged. People have been louder than usual, but somehow less clear. Even simple decisions have carried a strange weight. Maybe you woke up before the sun rose. Maybe your eyes opened without an alarm. Maybe you stared at the ceiling and felt as if someone was trying to get your attention. You told yourself it was stress, but deep inside, you knew it was not only stress. God has been interrupting your routine, not to punish you, not to confuse you, not to make you afraid. He has been interrupting your routine because something in your current rhythm is too loud for the instruction he is trying to give you. That is why this message carries weight. It is not about panic. It is not about chasing signs. It is not about becoming suspicious of every person around you. It is about learning to recognize the moment when heaven says, "Stop moving, I need you to hear me." Chosen one, your spirit has been working overtime. You smile, but you feel drained. You answer messages, but you feel distant. You show up for people, but something inside you keeps asking why you are still pouring into places that no longer carry peace. You have been trying to keep everything normal. You have been trying to act as if the heaviness is not there, but every quiet moment tells the truth. When the room gets silent, you feel the weight again, and it feels like your soul is waiting for a sentence from God. That sentence is coming. But first, you must understand why the noise became so strong right before Friday. The enemy does not always attack with obvious darkness. Sometimes he attacks by filling your day with small demands until your spirit cannot tell which voice is urgent and which voice is divine. You have had too many voices around you. Advice from people who do not carry your assignment. Opinions from people who do not know your private battles. Expectations from people who only love your usefulness, not your calling. And all of it has been trying to cover the one voice you truly need. This is why God says, stop everything. Not because everything is evil, not because every task must be abandoned, but because your spirit cannot keep receiving sacred instruction while your mind is scattered across every request, every memory, every fear, and every unfinished conversation. Some of you have been feeling sudden tiredness at strange hours. You could rest and still wake up heavy. You could sleep and still feel unrested. That is not always physical weakness. Sometimes it is your spirit carrying more than your mind has been allowed to process. You have felt the urge to be alone, not because you hate people, not because love left your heart, but because something inside you knows that your next instruction cannot be received in a room filled with noise, performance, explanation, and emotional pulling. There is a holy separation happening. You have been pulled back from conversations you once enjoyed. You have lost interest in proving your point. You have stopped chasing certain people. You have noticed that your silence bothers those who were comfortable controlling your attention. Do not ignore that. Silence is not always emptiness. For the chosen one, silence can be a sanctuary. It can be a shield. It can be the place where God removes the fingerprints of other people from your thoughts. so you can finally recognize his voice again. Friday is bringing that kind of silence. Not the silence of abandonment, not the silence of rejection, not the silence of being forgotten. This is the silence before instruction, the stillness before movement, the sacred pause before a door opens in a way you could not force. You may have noticed repeated signs. A word keeps coming back. A scripture keeps appearing. A number keeps catching your eye. A dream keeps replaying. A name rises in your mind at unusual times, and every time it happens, your spirit becomes alert. You tried to dismiss it. You said maybe it was nothing. You said maybe you were thinking too much. But heaven has a way of repeating what we refuse to receive the first time, and God has been repeating something because he does not want you to miss it. This is not the season to call everything coincidence. This is not the hour to laugh off the pressure in your spirit. You are not being dramatic. You are not losing your mind. You are being trained to separate noise from signal, and this Friday is part of that training. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Not everyone around you needs to understand what God is doing. Some people will call your stillness strange because they benefited from your confusion. Some will call your boundaries harsh because they were used to entering your spirit without permission. That is why you must stop explaining so much. Your obedience does not need a public defense. Your silence does not need an apology. Your separation does not need a long announcement. When God is speaking directly, the safest thing you can do is become quiet enough to receive. There is a decision you have been delaying. You know it. You may not want this message to touch that place, but it must. There is one thing you keep circling, one step you keep postponing, one conversation you keep avoiding, and one door you keep staring at without entering. God is not angry at your fear, but he is calling your spirit higher than fear. He knows the wound behind your hesitation. He knows the betrayal that taught you to second-guess yourself. He knows why you ask for one more sign, even after he has already given you many. But Friday comes as a line, not to condemn you, but to steady you, not to shame you, but to call you back into clarity. This is the day where God begins to make one instruction louder than every excuse that has been circling in your mind. You have been praying for direction. You have asked for confirmation. You have whispered in private, God, please show me what to do. And now that the answer is getting close, the noise has become aggressive because the enemy knows clarity will end a cycle. That cycle has taken enough from you. It took sleep. It took peace. It took confidence. It made you question what God already placed inside you. And it made you feel like waiting was the same as obedience, when sometimes waiting became a hiding place. Do not let that sentence pass by. Sometimes waiting is holy. Sometimes waiting is protection. But sometimes waiting becomes fear wearing spiritual language. And God is using this Friday to show you the difference between patience and delayed obedience. You are not being rushed by heaven. You are being awakened. There is a difference. Rushing creates panic. Awakening creates clarity. Panic says move without hearing. Clarity says become still, receive the instruction, then move with peace that does not need applause. This is why your body has been reacting. Your spirit heard the shift before your calendar did. Your shoulders tightened. Your stomach felt uneasy. Your dreams became vivid. Your patience became thin. Your tolerance for false peace became lower than it has ever been. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming discerning. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming protected. You are not becoming difficult. You are becoming aligned with the instruction that God has been pressing into your spirit all week. Some of you felt a sudden grief this week. It did not match your circumstances. It came over you in waves. You may have cried without knowing why. You may have felt nostalgic for a version of yourself who trusted God before people taught you to doubt your own spirit. God saw that. He did not mock your tears. He did not call them weakness. He received them as evidence that your heart is still soft enough to hear him, even after seasons that should have made you hard, bitter, and unreachable. That softness is part of your calling. Do not let the world shame you out of it, but do not confuse softness with access. A soft heart still needs a guarded gate, because not everyone who asks for your attention has permission to enter your assignment. Friday, God speaks directly to you about access. Who has access to your peace? Who has access to your thoughts? Who has access to your time? Who has access to the sacred place where God plants instructions before they become visible to the world? You have given too much access to people who only understood your gift after they needed it. You have allowed your compassion to become an open door. You have mistaken availability for love, and heaven is gently correcting that pattern before it drains your next season. Listen carefully now. The fatigue you felt was not random. The irritation you felt was not random. The desire to turn your phone off was not random. The sudden need to clean your space, clear your mind, and pull back from noise was not random. Those were preparation signals. Your spirit knew Friday required room. Your spirit knew you could not carry every voice into this instruction. Your spirit knew God was about to separate what is useful from what is draining, what is divine from what is familiar. The familiar has kept many chosen ones trapped. You keep returning to what you understand, even when it hurts. You keep answering what drains you, because silence makes you feel guilty. You keep delaying what frees you, because freedom feels unfamiliar to a nervous system trained by survival. But God is not calling you back to survival. He is calling you into obedience. He is calling you into a quieter power. He is calling you into a Friday where your spirit stops negotiating with confusion and begins agreeing with heaven. You needed this interruption. You needed someone to say stop before you gave another piece of yourself to the wrong request. You needed heaven to interrupt your scroll, your routine, your worry, and your mental noise before you stepped into another day, pretending nothing was happening. Something is happening. Do not let fear make that sound dark. Something holy is happening. A separation is happening. A cleansing is happening. A redirection is happening. God is pulling your spirit out of the fog before the next instruction arrives. There were signs in the conflict. There were signs in the silence. There were signs in the delay. There were signs in the person who suddenly changed their tone. There were signs in the opportunity that paused without explanation, and signs in the door that would not open. Do not curse every delay. Some delays are walls, some delays are wounds, some delays are alarms. God has been using what did not move to show you what should not move forward with you. And this Friday, He is making that distinction clearer. You have been asking, why is this taking so long? God is asking, why are you trying to carry what I already told you to release? You have been asking, when will the door open? God is asking, will you stop knocking on the wrong one? That question may sting. Let it. Not every sting is harm. Some stings are healing, entering a place that has been numb for too long. Sometimes the truth hurts only because it touches the exact chain that God is ready to break. Chosen one, the wrong door has kept you busy. The wrong conversation has kept you emotionally occupied. The wrong attachment has kept your discernment blurry. The wrong fear has made you call your prison a waiting room, and God is not letting that continue. This message is not here to entertain you. It is here to wake you. You already know that. Something in your spirit leaned forward when you heard Friday. Something inside you recognized that God has been preparing this moment before your mind found language for it. Now breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Let your thoughts stop racing for a moment. You do not have to solve everything while listening. You do not have to understand the whole path. You only have to become honest enough to receive the first instruction. The first instruction is simple. Stop letting noise interpret God for you. Stop letting fear translate silence as abandonment. Stop letting other people decide what obedience should look like in a life they were never assigned to carry. Your assignment is too sacred for borrowed voices. Your next step is too important for emotional chaos. Your Friday is too marked for distraction. This is why God says listen carefully, because careful listening is how chosen ones avoid battles they were never meant to fight. Some battles are bait. Some invitations are traps. Some apologies are access requests. Some sudden compliments are attempts to soften the boundary God just gave you. You need discernment now, not paranoia, and discernment requires a spirit that is not drowning in noise. That is why Friday matters. It is not only about what God says. It is about whether you are quiet enough to hear the difference between His voice and the voice of urgency, guilt, loneliness, fear, pride, and old emotional hunger. You have followed guilt before. You know what it costs. You have followed fear before. You know how small it makes you feel. You have followed people-pleasing before. You know how empty you became after being everything for people who still did not see you. This Friday, God is calling you out of that pattern, not with rage, not with condemnation, with authority, with mercy, with a firm hand on your shoulder, the kind that says, "Child, enough. You are not going to keep abandoning yourself to prove your love." That line is for someone. You have abandoned yourself to prove your love. You became quiet when your spirit was warning you. You became available when your body was begging you to rest. You became agreeable when discernment was telling you something was wrong. God saw every time. He saw the room where you swallowed your truth. He saw the message you typed and deleted. He saw the prayer you whispered after giving someone another chance. He saw you trying to be holy while slowly becoming exhausted. This is the mercy of interruption. God stops you before resentment replaces tenderness. God stops you before confusion becomes identity. God stops you before the wrong attachment becomes a covenant in your mind. God stops you because He loves the version of you that you almost forgot. There is a version of you that hears God quickly. There is a version of you that does not need chaos to feel alive. There is a version of you that moves with quiet authority, speaks with restraint, loves with wisdom, and obeys without begging everyone to understand. That version is not gone. It has been covered. Covered by disappointment, covered by pressure, covered by noise, covered by survival, covered by old words spoken over you by people who could not recognize the weight of what God placed inside you. Friday is part of the uncovering. God is peeling back the noise. He is removing the false urgency. He is exposing the voices that made you doubt your own spiritual hearing, and He is showing you that your sensitivity was never the problem. Your sensitivity became painful because it lacked protection. Your discernment became heavy because you kept using it for people who refused correction. Your compassion became exhaustion because you kept pouring into places where God had already stopped sending you. That is hard to hear, but it is freeing. You do not have to keep watering ground that heaven has already closed. You do not have to keep explaining your calling to people who only want the fruit of it, not the responsibility of honoring it. Stay with this. Do not drift away now. The next layer matters. God is not only showing you what drained you, He is showing you what has been blocking your clarity. And once you see it, you will understand why this Friday had to interrupt your whole rhythm. Your clarity has been under attack. Not your worth, not your identity, not your chosen status. Those things are established by God. The attack has been against your ability to perceive, because a chosen one who cannot perceive clearly can be delayed without being destroyed. The enemy knows this. If he cannot remove your calling, he will try to fog your mind. If he cannot steal your anointing, he will crowd your attention. If he cannot close the door God opened, he will try to make you too distracted to notice it. That is why this week felt strange. That is why ordinary things felt spiritually loud. That is why small conflicts felt bigger than they should. That is why your mind kept replaying scenes, words, memories, and possible outcomes until your inner room felt crowded. But God says stop. Stop rehearsing what they said. Stop replaying what you cannot change. Stop building imaginary arguments with people who are not even present. Stop surrendering your sacred attention to battles that only exist because the enemy wants your mind tired. Your attention is holy. Let that land. Your attention is not cheap. It is not available to every fear. It is not available to every memory. It is not available to every person who creates chaos and then expects your spirit to clean it up. God is calling your attention back. Not just your behavior, not just your schedule, not just your words, your attention. Because wherever your attention stays, your energy follows. And wherever your energy keeps flowing, your life begins to form agreements. You have made agreements without realizing it. Agreements with worry, agreements with delay, agreements with rejection, agreements with the idea that peace must be earned by overgiving, agreements with the belief that if you stop, everything will fall apart. It will not. When God tells you to stop, He is not exposing your weakness. He is proving that He can hold what you have been trying to hold alone. He is showing you that your stillness will not destroy the assignment. It will purify it. This is the Friday command. Stop everything that is not yours to carry. Stop answering what God did not send. Stop forcing doors that steal your peace. Stop trying to hear heaven while feeding every voice that profits from your confusion. And listen carefully, not casually, not half-present, not while scrolling through fear. Listen with the part of you that used to know when something was wrong before anyone said a word. Listen with the part of you that God trained in silence, wilderness, tears, and waiting. That part of you is waking up. You can feel it. The old fog is beginning to lift, even if only slightly. The heaviness is being named. The pressure is being explained. The strange pull you felt toward this message is becoming less strange now. Before this part closes, I need you to do one thing. Not for performance, not for attention, not to impress anyone in the comments. Do it as a witness between your spirit and God, because your obedience begins with your agreement. Write, Friday I am listening. Write it slowly if you need to. Let every word become a line of surrender. Friday I am listening. Not Friday I am afraid. Not Friday I am confused. Not Friday I am chasing signs. Friday I am listening. And if you cannot comment, speak it where you are. Let the room hear your agreement. Let your own spirit hear it. There is power when a chosen one stops arguing with the interruption and finally says, God, you have my attention. Now stay with me. Because the interruption is only the surface. In the next part, I need to show you why heaven sometimes stops you before it blesses you, why the pause you feared may be protection, and why the noise around you became so loud right before Friday. Chosen one. Now hear the deeper truth. The interruption was not rejection. The pause was not punishment. The delay was not heaven forgetting your name. God has been slowing you down because something around your spirit became too loud, and love will sometimes stop you before danger can dress itself like opportunity. You thought you were being blocked. You thought the door was refusing you. You thought your prayers were bouncing back from the ceiling. But God was not holding back your answer because He was cruel. He was holding back your movement because your spirit needed separation before elevation. This is the reframe. You were not abandoned in the pause. You were protected inside it. You were not left behind while everyone else moved forward. You were being hidden from the wrong timing, the wrong people, the wrong emotional agreement, and the wrong version of yourself. Friday is not coming to shame your delay. Friday is coming to explain it. God is showing you that certain things did not open because they would have trained you to ignore His voice. Certain people did not stay because they would have made your calling smaller than your compassion. That is why your peace left before the situation ended. Your spirit knew first. Your body knew first. Your sleep knew first. Your dreams knew first. Long before your mind had words, something inside you started stepping back from what heaven had already marked as unsafe. You tried to call it confusion, but it was discernment. You tried to call it overthinking, but it was warning. You tried to call it tiredness, but it was your spirit refusing to keep carrying a weight that God had already removed from your future. Chosen one, this is important. The enemy does not need to destroy a marked person if he can simply keep that person misreading God. If he can make protection feel like rejection, you will fight the very mercy that was sent to guard your next season. That is what happened to you. You began arguing with the pause. You began questioning the closed door. You began asking why God would let things slow down, when the slowdown itself was the answer. Heaven was not delaying you to break you. Heaven was delaying you to separate you from contamination. Some opportunities arrive with hidden chains. Some relationships arrive with spiritual noise. Some invitations look harmless, but they pull your attention into places where obedience becomes foggy. God knew that, so he let your spirit feel uneasy before your eyes had proof. Do not apologize for the uneasiness. Do not betray it. Your spirit is not stupid. Your discernment is not random. When something inside you tightens without explanation, pause before you dismiss it, because many chosen ones lose peace only after ignoring the first quiet warning. Friday, God speaks directly to that place. He is telling you that the pause was a shield, the silence was a gate, the delay was a mercy. What you called stuck was often heaven holding you in place while something ahead of you lost the power to harm you. This does not mean every delay is divine. Some delays come from fear, some come from disobedience, some come from old wounds pretending to be wisdom. But this Friday, God is helping you separate holy waiting from hidden avoidance, and that separation will bring clarity. You know which one has been happening. Your spirit knows. When the pause brings peace, it is often protection. When the pause brings constant dread, hiding, and inner shrinking, it may be fear wearing a religious costume. God is not condemning you, he is uncovering the difference. Take that in slowly. God does not expose to humiliate, he exposes to heal. He does not reveal a pattern to mock you. He reveals it so you can finally stop calling every closed door an enemy attack and stop calling every uncomfortable instruction a mistake. Some of you were saved by what did not work. You were saved by the unanswered message. You were saved by the plan that collapsed. You were saved by the person who walked away. You were saved by the opportunity that looked perfect but never gave your spirit rest. You asked, why did it fall apart? God says, because you could not see what I saw. You asked, why did they change? God says, because I let the mask become heavy. You asked, why did I feel so unsettled? God says, because your spirit was telling the truth. This is why Friday carries weight. It is the day of interpretation, not panic. Interpretation. God is not only showing you signs, he is teaching you how to read them. He is not only interrupting your movement, he is correcting the meaning you attached to the interruption. Before we go deeper, I want to name something gently. Not as pressure, not as a sales moment, not as a distraction from what God is saying, but as a support for the very clarity this message is calling you back into. There is a simple audio called The Genius Song. It is 7 minutes long, and it was created around brain entrainment to help support the return of gamma, the clear and intuitive brainwave many people lose under pressure, survival, noise, and constant mental overload. I am mentioning it early because some of you already know your mind has been too crowded to hear clearly. You pray, but your thoughts scatter. You sit still, but the inner noise keeps speaking. You want to obey God, but fog keeps touching your decisions before peace can settle. The Genius Song is not a replacement for prayer. It is not a shortcut around obedience. It does not make you chosen. God already did that. But for the chosen one whose mind has been buried under noise, it can become a quiet tool that helps the inner room become still again. If your spirit recognizes that, the link is in the description and pinned comment. Do not rush away. Stay with the message. The full reason will make more sense later, because what God is revealing now is bigger than a tool. It is about reclaiming the clarity you were born to carry. Now come back to the reframe. God has not been fighting your progress. He has been fighting the noise around your progress. That is different. The enemy wanted you to blame God for the pause. because bitterness toward heaven makes obedience feel dangerous. But God was not your blocker. God was your protector. He saw the conversation before you entered it. He saw the attachment before it deepened. He saw the door before it required a compromise. He saw the version of you that would have been drained if everything opened too soon. This is why the pause felt strange. Part of you wanted movement, another part wanted peace. Part of you wanted proof, another part already knew. Part of you wanted the door to open, but another part felt the cost behind it before the cost became visible. Chosen one, do not let impatience steal your discernment. Impatience makes Ishmael look like Isaac. Impatience makes a trap look like timing. Impatience makes an emotional need sound like God, especially when you are tired of waiting and desperate to feel chosen again. But you are not chosen because something opens quickly. You are chosen because God knows how to guard what He placed inside you. You are chosen because heaven can hide you without forgetting you, delay you without denying you, and separate you without abandoning you. The world taught you to fear stillness. It told you that if nothing is moving, nothing is happening. But heaven often does its deepest work under the surface, while your outer life looks quiet, while people think you missed your chance, while your enemies assume you have lost momentum. They do not understand hidden seasons. They do not understand holy pauses. They do not understand that a seed is not dead because it is buried. They do not understand that God can do more in your stillness than people can do with all their striving. Friday is exposing that lie. You are not behind. You are being aligned. You are not forgotten. You are being covered. You are not weak because you need quiet. You are wise because your spirit knows the next instruction cannot be received in emotional traffic. That is the phrase. Emotional traffic. Too many feelings have been crossing your mind at once. Fear drove through. Guilt drove through. Hope drove through. Regret drove through. Old memories drove through. And in the middle of all of that, God was speaking with a still voice. You did not miss Him because He was absent. You struggled to hear because your inner room was crowded. That is why God says, stop everything. He is not only stopping your hands, He is stopping the traffic. He is bringing your attention back to one lane. That lane is obedience, not performance, not panic, not people-pleasing, not trying to impress heaven with exhaustion. Obedience, the calm kind, the quiet kind, the kind that does not need to announce itself because it knows God saw the yes before anyone else noticed. Some of you have been obeying noise. You answered because you felt guilty. You stayed because you feared looking unloving. You explained because you feared being misunderstood. You delayed because you feared being wrong. And all of it wore the mask of wisdom. But God is removing masks on Friday. He is showing you what has been calling itself peace while secretly draining you. He is showing you what has been calling itself responsibility while quietly becoming bondage. He is showing you what has been calling itself loyalty while making you abandon your assignment. This is not easy, but it is mercy. Real mercy does not always sound soft. Sometimes mercy sounds like stop. Sometimes mercy sounds like no more. Sometimes mercy sounds like close the door. Sometimes mercy sounds like do not answer yet, because your response would come from fear. God has been teaching you restraint. That is why certain words would not come. That is why certain messages sat unfinished. That is why you felt checked in your spirit before making a promise. You thought you were indecisive, but heaven was guarding your mouth. Do not curse the restraint. It saved you from agreements you would have regretted. It saved you from explaining too much to someone who only wanted leverage. It saved you from committing energy to a path that looked good but carried no peace. This Friday, God is showing you that your hesitation was not always weakness. Sometimes it was the Holy Spirit pressing pause. Sometimes it was your inner witness refusing to sign a contract your emotions wanted to sign. Sometimes it was heaven saying, "Not this way." You needed that correction, not because you are foolish, but because you are compassionate. Compassionate people can confuse access with love. They can confuse rescuing with obedience. They can confuse being needed with being called. God is not removing your compassion. He is purifying its direction. Your love is not supposed to become a leash. Your kindness is not supposed to become a prison. Your gift is not supposed to be handed to everyone who knows how to sound wounded. There are people who need healing, and there are people who use your healing nature to avoid their own responsibility. Friday will help you know the difference, not by making you suspicious, by making you clear. Suspicion is fear, looking for proof. Discernment is peace, recognizing truth. God is not calling you into paranoia. He is calling you into a cleaner kind of knowing. That knowing has been waking up. You felt it when a certain name appeared in your mind. You felt it when your body reacted to a message. You felt it when a plan sounded exciting, but your spirit stayed quiet. You felt it when a closed door gave you relief. Do not ignore relief. Sometimes relief is the proof. When something ends and your spirit finally breathes, pay attention. When someone leaves and peace enters, pay attention. When a plan collapses and your chest becomes lighter, pay attention, because not every loss is loss. Some losses are deliverance in plain clothing. Some endings are answers with no decoration. Some cancelled plans are angels in ordinary clothes. Some disappointments are heaven changing your route before your feet reach the place where your peace would have been stolen. This is why God says, listen carefully. If you only listen with emotion, you will call deliverance rejection. If you only listen with pride, you will call correction attack. If you only listen with fear, you will call stillness abandonment. But if you listen with the Spirit, you will hear what heaven has been saying all week. You will hear, I was protecting you. You will hear, I was slowing you down. You will hear, I was not ignoring you. You will hear, I was removing what could not travel with you. Chosen one, the removal hurt because your heart is real. God knows that. He is not asking you to pretend it did not matter. He is asking you to stop using pain as evidence that the removal was wrong, because sometimes the thing that hurts to lose was still dangerous to keep. That is a hard truth. Let it breathe. Pain does not always mean mistake. Tears do not always mean regret. Missing someone does not always mean they belong in your next season. A familiar door can still be a closed door when God has already changed your direction. You have been trying to resurrect what God was trying to bury. You have been checking on what God was trying to remove. You have been replaying what God was trying to silence. You have been asking for peace while continuing to feed the pattern that stole it. This is why the pause came. God slowed the cycle so you could see it. If He allowed everything to keep moving at full speed, you would have called the pattern normal. You would have kept adapting to dysfunction, and you would have kept mistaking endurance for assignment. Endurance is holy when God gives it, but enduring what God told you to leave is not holiness. It is agreement with bondage. And this Friday, God is breaking the agreement by giving you the one thing confusion cannot survive: clear instruction. You do not need a crowd to confirm what God has already whispered. You do not need the person who wounded you to understand why you are stepping back. You do not need a perfect explanation before obeying a clear warning in your spirit. Your nervous system may ask for certainty. God often gives peace first. Your mind may ask for the whole map. God often gives one step first. Your fear may ask what people will think. God asks whether you trust His voice more than their reaction. That is the Friday test, not a test designed to fail you, a test designed to reveal who has been governing your decisions. Has fear been leading? Has guilt been leading? Has old rejection been leading? Or has the voice of God been given the final word? Do not answer too quickly. Sit with it. Many chosen ones say God is leading, while secretly letting pain hold the steering wheel. They pray with sincere mouths, but their choices are still shaped by memories that taught them to expect abandonment, betrayal, or loss. God is not angry about that. He is healing it. He is not shaming your survival patterns. He is showing you where survival has started calling itself wisdom. He is showing you where protection has turned into hiding, and where caution has turned into delayed obedience. There is the word again. Obedience. Not perfection, not performance. Obedience. God is not asking you to understand every detail. He is asking you to stop resisting the one thing you already know. The thing you keep delaying is the thing this Friday keeps touching. Maybe it is a boundary. Maybe it is a decision. Maybe it is a conversation. Maybe it is a release. Maybe it is a step into a door that scares you because it requires the healed version of you, not the wounded version. You cannot carry both forever. You cannot carry the old fear and the new instruction forever. At some point, one will lead and one will bow. Friday is the moment where God asks your spirit to choose which voice gets your agreement. The old fear says wait until it is effortless. God says move when peace gives witness. The old wound says protect yourself by staying small. God says protect the assignment by becoming clear. The old pattern says explain everything. God says obey without begging for approval. This is the difference between delay and preparation. Preparation makes you stronger. Delay makes you smaller. Preparation produces peace, even when it stretches you. Delay produces fog, even when it feels safe. Preparation aligns your spirit. Delay feeds the fear that calls itself caution. Now you can see why the interruption mattered. God stopped you so you could identify the voice behind the pause. Was it holy restraint, or was it fear? Was it divine protection, or was it avoidance? Was it heaven guarding you, or was it an old wound leading you away from growth? This is not a moment for self-accusation. Do not turn revelation into shame. Shame will try to make you hide from God, but conviction invites you closer. If you feel exposed right now, let the exposure become a doorway, not a wall. God reveals to restore. He uncovers to recover. He interrupts to redirect. He pauses to protect. He slows to purify. He separates to prepare. He corrects because he loves what is coming out of you, and he refuses to let noise define your next step. Some people around you will not understand this. They will ask why you changed. They will ask why you stopped responding the same way. They will ask why you seem quieter. They may even call you distant, cold, prideful, or difficult. Let them misname what God is healing. You do not have to defend every transformation. A caterpillar does not explain the cocoon. A seed does not apologize for disappearing underground. A chosen one does not need to announce every separation that heaven required. Your quietness is not arrogance, it is alignment. Your distance is not hatred, it is protection. Your restraint is not confusion, it is wisdom returning to its seat. The people who were assigned to your old confusion may not recognize your new clarity. That is okay. They do not have to recognize it for it to be real. God recognizes it. Heaven recognizes it. Your spirit recognizes it. And soon, your choices will begin reflecting it so clearly that even the people who doubted you will feel the difference. But do not perform the difference for them. This is where many chosen ones fall back into bondage. They receive clarity, then immediately try to prove it. They get free, then immediately explain the freedom. They hear God, then immediately ask people to validate what heaven already said. Do not do that this time. Let Friday be private before it becomes visible. Let the instruction settle before you announce movement. Let the new peace grow roots before you expose it to opinions, questions, pressure, and people who benefit from your uncertainty. There is power in hidden obedience. Mary carried a promise before the world understood it. David carried oil before the throne appeared. Joseph carried dreams before the palace opened. Moses carried a call before Pharaoh ever heard his name. God often marks people in secret before he moves them in public. That is why your Friday may not look dramatic to everyone else. It may look like a quiet decision, a phone put down, a message unanswered, a door left alone, a prayer whispered with trembling honesty. But heaven sees the weight of quiet obedience. Heaven sees when you do not go back. Heaven sees when you stop explaining. Heaven sees when you refuse to let guilt reopen what God closed. Heaven sees when you choose peace over emotional addiction. Yes, emotional addiction. Some of you became addicted to the cycle, the apology, the disappointment, the hope, the collapse, the promise, the waiting, the pain. It became familiar, and familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar peace. God is breaking that pattern, not by ripping your heart apart, by teaching your spirit to stop confusing intensity with intimacy, urgency with assignment, and chaos with confirmation. The thing that God has for you will not require you to abandon your inner witness. It may stretch you, it may challenge you, it may require faith, but it will not require you to betray discernment. It will not demand that you silence the Holy Spirit to keep a human connection alive. It will not make you smaller in order to belong. Friday says, listen. Listen to the peace. Listen to the warning. Listen to the repeated instruction. Listen to the absence of peace in places you keep trying to spiritualize. Listen to the way your spirit responds before your fear starts explaining everything away. God is speaking in the response beneath the response. Your first knowing matters. The first quiet check matters. The first uneasy pull matters. The first breath of relief matters. Before your trauma edits the message, before your fear adds noise, your spirit often knows. This is why you must become still. Stillness lets the first knowing rise. Noise buries it. Busyness buries it. People-pleasing buries it. Over-explaining buries it. Endless advice buries it. God is bringing you back to the simple place where your spirit can hear without interference. That place is not weakness, it is power. The enemy fears a still chosen one more than a loud one, because stillness allows you to see what noise was hiding. Stillness allows you to hear what manipulation was covering. Stillness allows God to correct your direction without fighting your panic. You do not need to be louder this Friday. You need to be cleaner inside. Cleaner in attention, cleaner in motives, cleaner in boundaries, cleaner in the way you interpret delay. Because a cloudy interpretation can make a divine pause feel like a personal failure. It was not failure. Say that inside yourself. It was not failure. The pause was teaching me. The delay was protecting me. The silence was forming me. The closed door was not mocking me. The interruption was heaven pulling me back into alignment. Do not rush the lesson. Do not skip over the pain. Do not pretend the last season was easy. It was not easy. It stretched you. It humbled you. It revealed who loved your access more than your soul, and who only honored your gift when it served them. But it also gave you eyes. You see differently now. You hear differently now. You can tell when flattery is bait. You can tell when urgency is manipulation. You can tell when guilt is knocking. You can tell when God is asking for quiet, not immediate reaction. This is maturity. This is what the pause produced. You wanted movement, but God produced discernment. You wanted an open door, but God produced spiritual hearing. You wanted relief, but God produced a deeper authority that will protect the relief when it comes. So do not despise the pause. It has been doing holy work. It has been removing noise from your yes. It has been separating need from calling. It has been burning away the fear that made you call every opportunity a blessing, even when your spirit felt warning. Friday is the day your interpretation changes. You stop saying, I was blocked. You start saying, I was covered. You stop saying, God ignored me. You start saying, God protected me. You stop saying, I am behind. You start saying, I am being aligned. And when you say that, something shifts. Not because words are magic, but because agreement matters. When your mouth agrees with heaven, your spirit stops rehearsing defeat. When your spirit stops rehearsing defeat, your attention becomes available for instruction. That is where God wants you. Available, not frantic, not numb, not defensive, not scattered. Available. The instruction coming to you does not require panic. It requires availability. It requires a quiet yes from someone who has finally stopped arguing with protection. Chosen one, hear this before we move on. The pause you feared may be the very proof that God has been near. The thing you thought was evidence of absence may be evidence of care. The door that stayed closed may have been the loudest answer heaven gave you. Do not worship the closed door. Do not keep staring at it. Thank God for what it prevented. Then turn your face toward the instruction that is still alive. Some things are closed because they are dead. Some things are closed because they were never assigned to your future. You are allowed to move on without hatred. You are allowed to release without bitterness. You are allowed to stop checking without guilt. You are allowed to be grateful for what a season taught you, while still admitting that God has ended your assignment there. That is not betrayal. That is obedience. You can love people and still leave a pattern. You can honor a memory and still close a door. You can forgive someone and still stop giving them access to the place where God speaks instruction. Access is holy. Remember that. Not everyone deserves access to your inner room. Not every emergency deserves your attention. Not every emotional pull deserves your agreement. Not every familiar voice deserves permission to interpret what God is saying to you. This Friday, God is reclaiming access. He is standing at the gate of your attention. He is asking why fear has been allowed in. He is asking why guilt has a key. He is asking why old rejection still gets to speak before his promise does. Do not be afraid of that question. It is not accusation. It is restoration. God is helping you take keys back. Keys from fear. Keys from guilt. Keys from people-pleasing. Keys from memories that have been entering your present without permission. You are not the same person who survived those wounds. You are here now. You are wiser now. You are stronger now. You are more discerning now. And God is not asking the wounded version of you to lead the next step. He is calling the healed version forward. Even if that version feels new, even if it trembles, even if it does not know how to explain itself yet, the healed version of you can obey God without punishing anyone, without proving anything, and without apologizing for peace. That is what Friday is preparing. A quieter yes, a cleaner boundary, a sharper discernment, a release that does not need drama, a step that does not need applause, a spirit that no longer confuses divine protection with personal rejection. Now hold this before we enter the next layer. Heaven stopped you because blessing without clarity can become another burden. A door without discernment can become another trap. A connection without peace can become another cycle. God loves you too much to give you increase while your inner room is still crowded. That is why the next part matters. Scripture has always shown this pattern. God often interrupts before he reveals. He often separates before he sends. He often silences the noise before the assignment becomes clear. Stay with me, because next you will see why heaven sometimes stops a chosen one right before the blessing moves. Chosen one. Now you need to see the pattern. God has always interrupted people before he released them into something weighty. He does not always announce movement with noise. Sometimes he begins with stillness, with separation, with a strange pause that makes no sense until the instruction finally arrives. This is why Friday feels marked. It is not because a day has power over God. It is because God can mark a day as a doorway in your life. He can take an ordinary sunrise and turn it into a meeting place where your spirit finally understands what your mind kept trying to explain away. Scripture is full of this. God speaks, but he often speaks after something stops. A pattern breaks, a routine shifts. A person is pulled away from noise. A familiar rhythm is interrupted, and then the voice of God becomes clear enough to obey. Think about Samuel. He was resting in the night when a voice called his name. He did not understand it at first. He ran to the wrong place because he had not yet learned the sound of the one calling him. The voice was real, but his interpretation had to mature. That is many of you right now. You heard something in your spirit. but you ran to the wrong explanation. You called it stress. You called it anxiety. You called it overthinking. But what if the call was real? And this Friday is God teaching you how to answer correctly. Samuel had to stop running to the wrong voice. He had to become still enough to say, "Speak, your servant is listening." That is the posture of this Friday. Not speak while I keep moving. Not speak while I keep arguing. Speak because I have finally become still. Chosen one, you have been running to the wrong rooms for confirmation. You asked people who could not discern your assignment. You opened your heart to voices that only understood your fear. You looked for permission from those who were never trained to recognize the sound of God over your life. But Friday is pulling you back to the room where God can speak without interruption. The instruction will not need everyone to agree. It will not need every detail explained. It will not need your old fear to approve before your spirit says yes. Now think about Elijah. He was exhausted. He was overwhelmed. He had seen power, yet he still reached a place where his soul felt crushed. God did not meet him with a performance. God did not demand that he prove his strength. God brought him into a quieter place. There was wind, there was shaking, there was fire, but the voice came in stillness. That matters. The loudest thing around Elijah was not the clearest thing from God. The dramatic thing was not the divine instruction. The power was present, but the direction came through stillness. This is a warning for your Friday. Do not confuse loud with true. Do not confuse urgent with holy. Do not confuse emotional intensity with divine instruction. Some of the loudest voices around you are only there to keep you from hearing the quiet sentence that would set you free. The enemy loves noise, because noise makes false urgency feel like truth. A message comes in, a memory rises, a person demands an answer, a fear starts speaking. Suddenly, your inner room is crowded again, and the still voice of God gets pushed behind panic. But Elijah teaches you that God does not have to compete with noise. He waits until the noise passes. He waits until the soul becomes honest. He waits until the person stops looking for him only in dramatic signs and starts recognizing him in quiet authority. This is why your desire to be alone has increased. It is not random. God is not making you antisocial. He is clearing space. He is giving your spirit a cave, a hidden place, a private room where the wind can pass, the shaking can pass, the fire can pass, and his voice can remain. Do not be ashamed of needing quiet. Even prophets needed quiet. Even strong vessels needed rest. Even people who carried fire had moments where God restored them through silence before giving the next assignment. Your stillness is not failure. It may be the place where your next instruction becomes clean. Now look at Moses. He was not called while trying to impress a crowd. He was not standing on a stage. He was tending what was in front of him, living in a hidden rhythm, when God interrupted him with a burning bush. That bush was not the destination. It was the interruption. It was the sign that made him turn aside. That phrase matters deeply. Moses turned aside to see. He stopped his ordinary movement long enough to notice what heaven had placed in front of him. Some of you keep asking for a burning bush while refusing to turn aside. God has been placing signals in your path, but your mind is running so fast that you pass them, explain them away, or call them coincidence before your spirit has time to receive. Friday is God saying, turn aside. Stop long enough to notice. Look again at the thing you dismissed. Listen again to the instruction that keeps returning. Pay attention to the uneasiness, the repetition, the peace, the closed door, the word that will not leave your spirit. Moses did not receive the fullness of his assignment until he paused before the sign. That is the pattern. The pause came before the commission. The turning came before the sending. The sacred ground came before the confrontation with Pharaoh. Do you see it now? God is not wasting your time. He is bringing you to sacred ground. That means you cannot carry every old mindset into the moment. You cannot walk onto sacred ground with dusty assumptions, borrowed fear, and a heart still arguing with what God already showed you. Moses had to remove what was on his feet. You must remove what has been on your perception. Remove fear. Remove guilt. Remove the need to be understood. Remove the old interpretation that says every delay means rejection, because that lie cannot stand on the ground where God is speaking. This Friday is sacred ground for your attention. Treat it that way. Do not let every notification walk across it. Do not let every old wound speak over it. Do not let every opinion stand in the place where God is trying to give you one clean instruction. Now look at David. He was anointed before he was announced. Oil touched him long before the throne carried him. People saw a shepherd, but heaven saw a king. People saw youth, but God saw assignment. People saw limitation, but God saw authority being formed in secret. David had to live with a promise that did not look visible yet. That is not easy. When God marks you before circumstances match the marking, your faith gets tested in hidden places. You start asking whether you heard correctly, because the outer world seems to contradict the inner word. Many of you are there. You carry something inside that does not match your current life. You feel appointed, but your surroundings look ordinary. You feel called, but the door looks slow. You feel chosen, but your bank account, your relationships, and your energy do not always look like breakthrough. But David teaches that delay does not cancel anointing. Hiddenness does not erase calling. Waiting does not mean heaven changed its mind. Sometimes God uses the quiet field to train the king before the throne arrives, because public elevation without private formation can destroy what was meant to bless. That is why Friday is not just about hearing. It is about being formed enough to obey what you hear. God is not giving instructions for entertainment. He is not giving signs for spiritual excitement. He speaks because the next step requires alignment. David also teaches restraint. He had chances to force the promise. He could have grabbed what God said would be his, but he understood that a divine promise must not be fulfilled through a corrupt spirit. He waited for God to open what God had spoken. That is for someone who wants to force a door. Be careful. The fact that something is promised does not mean you should seize it in fear. The fact that God showed you a future does not mean every shortcut is holy. A chosen one must learn the difference between faith and force. Friday is correcting your timing, not just your direction. Timing matters. A right door entered with a wrong spirit can become a burden. A divine relationship handled through fear can become confusion. A real opportunity pursued from panic can make you forget the peace God used to guide you. So God says, stop, listen carefully. Let me adjust not only where you are going, but the spirit you are carrying while you go. Let me remove the need to prove yourself. Let me break the panic that says you are late. Let me teach you the authority of moving only when I release you. This is why the pause is not your enemy. The pause gives God space to purify the motive. The pause exposes the mixture. The pause asks whether you want the promise or whether you want the attention that comes with the promise. That question is holy. Do not run from it. God already knows the answer. He asks because he wants you to know. He asks because clarity begins when the heart becomes honest about what it is truly chasing, what it fears losing, and what it still needs healed. Now think about Esther. She was placed in a position she did not fully understand at first. Her story looked personal, but it was connected to a larger rescue. She had favor, but favor came with responsibility. She had access, but access required courage. There came a moment when silence was no longer neutral. She had to discern the hour. She had to understand that her position was not random. She had to accept that perhaps she had come to that place for that exact time. This Friday carries that question for you. What if you are not where you are by accident? What if the pressure you feel is connected to assignment? What if the discomfort is not proof that God is absent, but proof that your spirit is sensing the weight of timing? Esther could not treat her moment casually. Neither can you. There are moments when delay is protection, and there are moments when delay becomes disobedience. There are moments when silence is wisdom, and there are moments when silence becomes fear. Friday is helping you know the difference. You do not need to save everyone. That is not the point. You are not the savior, but you are responsible for obeying the instruction God gives you. Sometimes that instruction affects more than your own comfort. Sometimes your yes becomes a covering for people who do not even know you were wrestling. That is why the enemy fights your clarity. He is not only afraid of your peace, he is afraid of the chain reaction that begins when you finally obey. One clear yes from a chosen one can break cycles, shift rooms, expose lies, and protect generations. Now breathe with that. Your obedience is bigger than your mood. It is bigger than your fear. It is bigger than the approval of people who only see the surface of your life. God is not calling you into drama. He is calling you into alignment that carries consequence. This is where the science bridge matters for some of you. When your mind is fogged, your spirit can still be willing, but your attention becomes unstable. You try to pray, but your thoughts scatter. You try to listen, but stress keeps throwing noise across the inner room. This is why I mentioned the Genius song earlier. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying the brain, and the work around gamma is important because gamma is connected with clarity, intuition, insight, and those moments where the mind seems to connect what was once scattered. Researchers at places like MIT, Princeton, and Harvard have explored how brain rhythms connect to attention and perception. I am not saying science replaces the voice of God. I am saying that a clearer mind can support a quieter inner room, and a quieter inner room can help a willing spirit listen. That is the bridge. Prayer is still prayer. Obedience is still obedience. Discernment is still spiritual. But when your mind has been trained by survival, pressure, and constant noise to stay scattered, a simple tool that supports gamma can help create space for clarity to rise again. Do not turn this into pressure. Do not make it strange. Just understand the principle. God gave you a spirit, and He also gave you a brain. He formed both. He can speak to the heart, and He can also use simple patterns to help the mind become less chaotic. That is why this message keeps returning to stillness. Stillness is not empty. Stillness is a condition of reception. A noisy spirit grabs at everything. A still spirit can test what it hears. A scattered mind reacts. A clear mind can pause long enough to obey. Now come back to the biblical pattern. Every person God used had to learn reception before release. Samuel had to learn the voice. Elijah had to learn the whisper. Moses had to turn aside. David had to wait without forcing. Esther had to recognize the hour. This is your Friday pattern. Learn the voice. Honor the whisper. Turn aside. Wait without forcing. Recognize the hour. These are not random lessons. They are the structure of divine instruction, and God has been arranging your week to bring you to this exact point. The signs were not separate. The tiredness, the dreams, the silence, the closed door, the strange heaviness, the sudden need to withdraw, the repeated word, the name that kept rising, the conversation that felt off. All of it was forming one message. God has been gathering your attention, piece by piece, moment by moment. He has been pulling the fragments back together so you can finally hear what could not be heard while you were scattered. This is why the same theme kept returning from different directions. Maybe someone said something that echoed your prayer. Maybe a scripture appeared right after you asked for clarity. Maybe a songline stayed in your mind. Maybe a dream gave you an image you could not shake. Maybe your body felt peace around one option and tension around another. Do not worship signs, but do not despise them. Signs are not God, but God can use them to point. The chosen one must learn the balance. You do not chase signs like a desperate person. You receive signs like a child whose father knows how to guide. This matters because the enemy also sends noise. Not every repeated thing is divine. Not every intense feeling is instruction. Not every open door is favor. Not every closed door is attack. That is why Friday requires careful listening, not emotional guessing. Careful listening asks, does this produce peace or panic? Does this lead to obedience or obsession? Does this make me more honest or more hidden? Does this align with the character of God? Or does it flatter my wound while keeping me bound? Those questions will protect you. They will slow you down just enough to test the voice. A chosen one does not need to be naive to be loving. A chosen one does not need to be suspicious to be wise. God is training you in clean discernment. Clean discernment does not scream, it settles. It may warn strongly, but it does not make you chaotic. It may tell you to step back, but it does not fill you with hatred. It may expose a person, but it does not require you to become cruel. This is how you know God is working. He can reveal without making you bitter. He can separate without making you proud. He can correct without making you collapse. He can warn without making you paranoid. He can close a door and still leave your heart soft. The enemy cannot do that. The enemy may show you a fact, but he twists it into fear. He may remind you of pain, but he turns it into identity. He may point to danger, but he makes you feel abandoned. God reveals to restore, the enemy reveals to torment. This Friday, God is restoring your ability to hear without being tormented. He is teaching you that a warning can come with peace, a correction can come with mercy, a no can carry love, a delay can carry protection, a closed door can carry favor. That is why you must stop interpreting everything through rejection. Rejection has been a dirty lens over your discernment. It made correction feel like hate. It made protection feel like neglect. It made silence feel like abandonment. It made distance feel like proof that you were unwanted. But the Father is removing that lens. He is saying, look again, look at the pause again, look at the closed door again, look at the separation again, look at the silence again. Not through rejection, but through protection. Not through fear, but through formation. When you look again, you will see differently. You will see that God held you back from what would have drained your future. You will see that He let certain people reveal themselves before deeper attachment formed. You will see that some unanswered prayers were mercy wearing quiet clothing. That realization will not make every pain disappear, but it will give meaning to what felt meaningless. It will turn confusion into instruction. It will turn delay into evidence. It will turn your Friday from another day of wondering into a day of holy interpretation. Now listen to this carefully. Holy interpretation is not fantasy. It is not making up meaning to feel special. It is asking God to show you the truth beneath the surface, then having the humility to accept the answer even when it confronts your preference. Sometimes God will say, that was not them, that was your fear. Sometimes He will say, that was not attack, that was protection. Sometimes He will say, that was not delay, that was training. Sometimes He will say, that was not love, that was attachment. Can you receive that? Can you let God define what happened without defending your old story? Can you let Him rename the season? Can you let Him show you that the thing you grieved may have been a gate closing behind you so you could not return to captivity? That is what happened to Israel. When God led them out, the wilderness looked like loss at first. They missed familiar bondage because unfamiliar freedom felt frightening. They remembered food from slavery and forgot the chains that came with it. Chosen one, do not romanticize what God delivered you from. Do not call the old cage safe because it had predictable walls. Do not call bondage stability because you knew how to survive there. Friday, God is speaking directly to the part of you that is tempted to go back. The wilderness is not always punishment. Sometimes it is transition. Sometimes it is detox. Sometimes it is the place where God removes the appetite for what enslaved you. If your old life no longer satisfies you, do not panic. That may be evidence that deliverance is working. You may feel in between, not fully there, not fully back, not who you were, not yet who you are becoming. That in-between place can feel lonely, but it is also holy. God does deep work in the space where old labels no longer fit and new doors have not fully opened. This is why you cannot let impatience drag you backward. The old season may call your name. The familiar person may reappear. The old coping pattern may offer comfort. The previous door may look attractive again, simply because the new path requires faith. But remember Lot. The warning was clear. The instruction was urgent. The direction was forward. Looking back carried danger, because the old place had already been judged. Sometimes the instruction is not complicated. Do not look back means do not feed your attachment to what God has ended. This is not about hating the past. It is about refusing to let the past govern the future. You can honor what taught you and still not return. You can forgive what hurt you and still not reconnect. You can remember what happened and still choose forward. Friday carries forward energy, not frantic movement, forward obedience. The kind that begins inside before anything changes outside. The kind that says, I will not rebuild what God dismantled. I will not reopen what peace closed. I will not make fear my prophet. That phrase matters. Do not make fear your prophet. Fear predicts disaster. Fear preaches loss. Fear tells you that obedience will leave you alone. Fear says your peace is risky. Fear says, if you do not control the outcome, everything will collapse. But God says, listen carefully. I did not bring you this far to abandon you at the edge of obedience. I did not train your discernment just to leave you confused. I did not expose the noise just to make you afraid. I am leading you into clarity. Clarity is not always information. Sometimes clarity is knowing what to stop. Stop feeding the thought. Stop answering the pull. Stop checking the door. Stop rehearsing the conversation. Stop delaying the yes. Stop calling a lack of peace your imagination. That may be the Friday instruction for you. It may not be dramatic. It may not be visible. It may not impress anyone. But heaven does not measure instruction by how theatrical it looks. Heaven measures it by whether it aligns your spirit with what God has already spoken. Small obedience can open large doors. A single no can protect 10 years. A single yes can break a generational pattern. A single moment of stillness can prevent a season of unnecessary warfare. Do not underestimate what God can do with one clean act of obedience. This is why the enemy tries to make small obedience feel pointless. He wants you to think if it is not big, it is not spiritual. But heaven often hides massive shifts inside simple acts. Do not respond. Rest. Wait. Write it down. Leave it alone. Forgive. Begin. Stop. Which word is touching you right now? Do not rush past that. There may be one word among those that your spirit recognized. That recognition matters. God can use one word to unlock a whole season when that word is connected to instruction. Maybe your word is rest. You have been trying to prove your worth through exhaustion. Maybe your word is stop. You have been feeding a cycle God already exposed. Maybe your word is begin. You have delayed a step because fear asked for another sign. Maybe your word is wait. You were about to move from panic, not peace. Maybe your word is forgive, not to reopen access, but to release the poison. Maybe your word is leave, not with drama, but with obedience. Maybe your word is listen, because you have been reacting more than receiving. God knows the word. You do not have to manufacture it. Let it rise. Let the Spirit bear witness. Let the peace come, even if the instruction stretches you. The voice of God may challenge you, but it will not require you to become someone false. Now stay close, because this brings us near the hidden blocker. The biblical pattern is clear. God interrupts. God separates. God speaks. God sends. But there is one place where many chosen ones get delayed. They receive the interruption, they sense the separation, they even hear the whisper, but then they hesitate. Why? Because the instruction touches the thing they fear losing. It touches approval. It touches comfort. It touches an attachment. It touches an old identity. It touches the version of them that survived by staying acceptable, available, agreeable, and easy to access. This is where Friday becomes more than a gentle message. It becomes a mirror. God is not only showing you that He speaks in stillness, He is showing you where you have been afraid to obey, because obedience might disappoint someone who benefited from your confusion. That is the part many people avoid. It is easier to say, "I need clarity," than to admit, "I already have clarity, but I am afraid of the cost." It is easier to ask for another sign than to confess that the last sign was clear enough. Do not be ashamed. God already knows. He is not exposing this to crush you. He is exposing it so the fear can stop ruling from the shadows. A hidden fear can govern a whole life, but a fear brought into the light can finally lose its throne. Friday is bringing hidden fear into the light. Fear of being alone, fear of being misunderstood, fear of missing out, fear of making the wrong move, fear of being judged, fear of becoming powerful enough that people no longer know how to control your responses. Yes, even that. Some of you fear your own clarity. Confusion has been painful, but it has also given you an excuse to stay neutral. Once you become clear, neutrality ends. Once you know, you must choose. Once God speaks, you cannot pretend you never heard. That is why the noise increased. Noise gave you a delay. Noise gave you a reason to postpone. Noise gave you a way to say, "I am still praying," when deep inside the instruction had already landed. God is not mocking that. He is lovingly removing the hiding place. This is the false summit. You thought the message was only, "Be still." It is deeper. You thought God was only calming your mind. It is deeper. You thought Friday was only about hearing better. It is deeper. God is revealing what has been stealing your obedience. Stay with me into the next part. Do not pull away because it confronts you. What comes next may feel sharp, but it will not harm you. It will name the hidden blocker, expose the lie behind your delay, and show you why God is not asking to speak louder. He is asking you to become quieter. Chosen one, now we must name the hidden blocker. Stay steady. Do not pull away. The thing that has been delaying you is not always the absence of God speaking. Sometimes the delay continues because God has already spoken, but fear has trained you to ask for another confirmation. That is the sharp place. Let it touch you. You have asked God to speak louder, but heaven has been asking you to become quieter. You have been asking for a bigger sign, but God has been asking for a cleaner inner room where the sign He already gave can finally be honored. This is not condemnation. This is liberation. God is not exposing your hesitation to shame you. He is exposing it because confusion has been sitting on the throne of your attention, while the instruction has been waiting quietly beneath fear, guilt, and old emotional noise. You know the instruction. Maybe you do not know every detail. Maybe you do not know the whole road. But there is one part you know. There is one thing God keeps touching. There is one step that returns when the room gets silent, and it does not disappear just because you distract yourself. That is why this Friday is serious. God is not trying to entertain your curiosity. He is not giving you another spiritual feeling so you can postpone obedience with better language. He is bringing you face to face with the place where clarity has been waiting for your agreement. The enemy did not need to destroy you. He only needed to make you doubt what God made clear. He only needed to make you tired enough to delay. He only needed to make you ask everyone else what your spirit already knew in the presence of God. This is how many chosen ones get stuck. They do not lose the calling, they lose the clarity. They do not lose the anointing, they lose the quiet. They do not lose the door, they lose the ability to recognize the door because their attention is divided. And divided attention is dangerous. It makes warning feel like anxiety. It makes peace feel boring. It makes chaos feel meaningful. It makes a familiar trap look like unfinished business. And it makes a divine instruction feel too simple to trust. God says stop everything because the voice that has been confusing you cannot survive stillness. It survives in rush. It survives in emotional traffic. It survives when you are tired, reactive, and desperate for someone to make the decision for you. But no one can obey for you. No one can hear this part for you. No one can place your hand back into the hand of God for you. People can advise you, but they cannot carry the consequence of ignoring what God has spoken inside your spirit. You must stop outsourcing your discernment. That sentence is for someone. You have asked too many people for permission to believe the instruction God gave you. You have opened sacred things to unsacred opinions, then wondered why your peace became cloudy. God is correcting that today. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today, this Friday, is a line of mercy. He is saying, do not let another voice sit above mine. Do not let another fear translate my silence. Do not let another wound rewrite my instruction. You keep saying, God, if this is you, make it clear. But in the secret place, God is asking, if I already made it clear, will you stop negotiating with fear? If I already gave peace, will you stop calling panic wisdom? If I already closed it, will you stop knocking? That is the hidden blocker. Negotiation. You keep negotiating with what God already settled. You keep returning to the court of your old fear, asking it to approve a verdict heaven already signed. You keep letting pain reopen cases that the Father already closed. No more. Not because you are harsh, not because you are cold, not because you are becoming proud. No more because clarity is holy, and you cannot keep putting holy instruction on trial in front of fear that was never qualified to judge it. God is not asking you to be reckless. He is asking you to be still enough to obey. There is a difference. Recklessness moves without peace. Obedience moves with peace, even when the knees tremble and the mind still wants every detail before the first step. Chosen one, the trembling does not mean God is absent. Sometimes trembling means your old self is losing authority. Sometimes trembling means the wounded version of you knows it can no longer lead. Sometimes trembling means the chain is loosening and the prison is about to feel empty. You have mistaken the shaking for danger. But what if the shaking is deliverance? What if the discomfort is not a warning to go back, but evidence that the part of you trained by survival is resisting the freedom God is bringing? This is the moment. Do not drift. Do not numb yourself. Do not turn this into background sound. Let the truth enter. You are not waiting because God has no answer. You are waiting because one part of you is still afraid of becoming the person the answer requires. That person is clearer. That person has boundaries. That person does not explain every no. That person stops feeding cycles that call themselves love. That person hears God, writes the instruction down, and obeys without begging wounded people to celebrate their freedom. You are becoming that person. That is why the old noise has become louder. Noise increases when its authority is threatened. Confusion gets aggressive when clarity comes near. Old patterns start knocking when they sense you may finally stop opening the door. But Friday is the day you stop calling the knock an assignment. Not every knock is a call. Not every need is your responsibility. Not every emergency is divine. Not every familiar voice deserves access. Not every open door is a door God wants you to enter. Here is the truth. You have been asking God to make the wrong door feel right. You have been asking Him to bless a path your spirit keeps resisting. You have been asking Him to send peace into a place where He already sent warning. That is why peace did not stay. God will not give lasting peace to a false agreement. He may give mercy while you learn. He may give grace while you untangle. But He will not make a counterfeit feel like covenant just because your heart is tired of waiting. This is not only about a person. For some of you, it is a place. For some of you, it is a habit. For some of you, it is a mindset. For some of you, it is the identity of being the one who always saves everyone, even while your own spirit is collapsing. God is touching all of it. He is not asking for a dramatic performance. He is asking for surrender. Quiet surrender. mature surrender, the kind that says, "Father, I will stop defending what you are asking me to release, even if my emotions need time to catch up." That is how freedom begins. Not always with shouting, sometimes with a small yes, sometimes with a phone placed face down, sometimes with a message left unanswered, sometimes with a prayer whispered through tears, sometimes with one honest sentence, "God, I know what you are saying." And now the open loop closes. The sentence God is speaking over your Friday is this: stop chasing confirmation from noise. I already placed the instruction inside your spirit. That is the word. That is the pressure. That is why this message reached you with such urgency. Stop chasing confirmation from noise. Noise cannot confirm heaven. Fear cannot confirm peace. Guilt cannot confirm obedience. People who benefit from your confusion cannot confirm your freedom. The instruction is already inside your spirit, and God is calling your attention back to it. Sit with that. Breathe with that. Let it become real. You do not need to panic. You do not need to make a public scene. You do not need to prove anything in this moment. You need to stop running from the simple thing God keeps repeating. Maybe the instruction is rest. Maybe it is release. Maybe it is begin. Maybe it is wait. Maybe it is close the door. Maybe it is answer the call. Maybe it is stop giving sacred access to people who only know how to consume your light. Whatever it is, your spirit knows where this lands. That is why your body reacted. That is why your thoughts kept circling. That is why Friday felt different before you had language for it. Your spirit recognized the appointment before your schedule did. Now that the hidden blocker has been named, I want to return to what I mentioned earlier. This matters because clarity is not a luxury for a chosen one. Clarity is protection. Clarity is obedience. Clarity is the difference between a divine step and another cycle. Earlier, I spoke about the genius song. I did not mention it to distract you from the message. I mentioned it because some of you are not only spiritually willing, you are mentally exhausted. You love God, but your mind has been overcrowded by survival, pressure, regret, and constant noise. The Genius Song is a 7-minute digital audio track created to support gamma reactivation through brain entrainment. Gamma is often connected with insight, focus, intuitive connection, and those clear moments where scattered thoughts begin to form one clean knowing. Now hear me carefully. This does not replace prayer. It does not replace scripture. It does not replace obedience. It does not make you chosen. God already chose you. But if your inner room has become crowded, a tool that helps the mind become still can support the clarity your spirit has been fighting to reclaim. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying neuroscience and the way the brain can respond to specific sound patterns. The work connects with research around attention, perception, and brain rhythms from places like MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other leading research universities. I am not saying a sound file is your savior. It is not. I am saying the brain God gave you can become overrun by noise. And when that noise begins to interfere with focus, discernment, and inner stillness, support can become a form of stewardship. That is the right frame. Stewardship. You steward your spirit through prayer. You steward your body through rest. You steward your words through restraint. And sometimes, you steward your attention by using a simple tool that helps the mind stop scattering long enough for clarity to rise. The Genius Song is for the person who remembers being sharper, the person who once learned quickly, the person who could sense things clearly, the person who had moments of insight, creative fire, and deep intuition before years of pressure, disappointment, and survival buried that inner brightness. Many chosen ones felt different as children. They noticed patterns. They felt atmospheres. They learned without trying so hard. They carried a strange knowing that adults often dismissed. Then life became louder. Education became mechanical. Survival became normal. And the clear inner signal became buried under years of noise. The product file calls this loss connected to the decline effect. In simple language, the God-given clarity many people carried early in life can become covered as the brain adapts to pressure and modern life. The Genius song is framed around helping reactivate that gamma-supported state. That is why the bridge matters. The tool is not for everyone as a random product. It is for the person who hears this message and says, "I know exactly what it feels like to have a gift buried under fog. I know what it feels like to sense my spirit is willing, but my mind keeps scattering." There is a woman who reminds me of many of you. She was 38 years old. She had tried quiet practices, retreats, and spiritual routines, yet she still felt like the connection she wanted never fully arrived. After using the Genius song for 2 weeks, the word she used for the shift was synchronicities. Not spectacle, not hype, synchronicities. She began noticing alignment again. The world felt less random. Her inner hearing felt less buried. She described it like the universe had started speaking in a language she could finally understand. And that is the kind of shift many fogged chosen ones are longing for. There is also a reason trust matters here. More than 18,366 people have used the Genius song, and the refund rate is framed under 4%. Those two facts belong together because the number alone is quantity, but the low refund rate suggests many people continued using it after the guarantee window. Again, no pressure. Do not let your fear turn this into a transaction. Let your spirit test it calmly. The question is not whether a product can replace God. It cannot. The question is whether your clarity is worth supporting when your mind has been fighting noise for too long. The way it works is simple. You put on headphones. You listen for 7 minutes. You do not need a complicated ritual. You do not need to wake up at 4 in the morning. You do not need to force a mystical performance. You allow the sound pattern to support the mind towards stillness. That simplicity matters. Many people have tried expensive and exhausting routes. Meditation apps can cost around $15 a month. Growth courses can cost $100 to $200. A retreat can cost $400 to $800. A single therapy session can cost around $150. Some professional biofeedback sessions can run around $300, and even then, most of those paths are not specifically built around gamma reactivation in the way this audio is positioned. The Genius song keeps the practice simple, focused, and available from home. The original price is $49. For viewers of this message, it is $39. That is a one-time price, not another monthly subscription trying to live on your card while your mind remains just as crowded as before. You also receive 4 bonuses with it. Genius Child is valued at $19. The Classic Book is valued at $20. Guided Visualization is valued at $29. The 5-Habit Infographic is valued at $12. Together, that is $80 in bonuses added to the $39 access. Those bonuses are not random decorations. One supports children before the world buries their clarity. One gives a deeper source text about real prosperity principles. One guides the imagination across core areas of life. One gives daily habits that help people maintain the gamma-supported state after activation. And there is a 90-day money-back protection. If you use it and decide it is not for you, you can request a refund. No complicated return is needed because it is digital. You still keep all 4 bonuses, the full $80 bonus value, as an apology for the time you gave it. That matters because it removes pressure. The only thing to test is whether your spirit recognizes the tool and whether your mind has been asking for support. No one should force you. No one should manipulate you. But you also should not ignore help just because old disappointment trained you to distrust every door. Now hear this warning with care. There are fake pages and copycat sounds that use names like this to catch people who search in the wrong place. Some are just ordinary audio with no real brain entrainment structure. Do not search for it on Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, or random sites. If you choose to receive it, use only the link in the description and pinned comment below this video. That is where the original version, the 4 bonuses, and the 90-day protection are connected. I am saying this to protect you, not to pressure you. Chosen one, pause for a moment. Put one hand over your chest if you can. Take one slow breath. Let the noise settle. This decision is not first about $39. It is about whether you believe the clarity God placed inside you is worth recovering, protecting, and supporting. Do not answer from panic. Do not answer from pressure. Answer from the quiet place. If your spirit says yes, the way is below. If your spirit says wait, then wait in peace. But do not let fear pretend to be discernment when the real reason is that you are afraid to become clear again. Because clarity will cost you confusion. It will cost you excuses. It will cost you false access. It will cost you the old pattern of saying you do not know, when deep inside God has already given witness. That is why the enemy hates this moment. He hates when a chosen one gets still. He hates when attention comes back. He hates when the inner room becomes quiet enough for obedience to rise. He hates when a tool, a prayer, a word, and a Friday instruction all come together to break a fog that has lasted too long. So if you choose it calmly. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Receive the original. Protect yourself from copies. Then come back to the instruction, because the tool supports clarity, but obedience still belongs to you. Now return to the message. God is not only giving you a support, He is giving you a command. Stop letting noise confirm what only peace can confirm. Stop letting fear ask for evidence after heaven has already given witness. Stop letting the old wound delay the new step. You have been circling the same mountain long enough. You have been almost ready long enough. You have been waiting for everyone to understand long enough. You have been calling fear wisdom long enough. Friday is the mercy line where God says, "Child, come back to my voice." That voice is not cruel. It is firm. It is not frantic. It is steady. It does not flatter your wound. It heals it. It does not feed your attachment. It frees you from the need to be controlled by it. It does not scream over noise. It waits until you become still. And now you are becoming still. Even as you listen, something is settling. Maybe not everything, but something. A name is losing power. A door is losing glamour. A fear is losing authority. A sentence from God is becoming clearer than the emotional traffic that tried to bury it. Let that happen. Do not grab the old confusion back. Do not rush to text someone for validation. Do not open another tab to distract yourself from the conviction. Stay here. Let the clarity finish its work. Let the hidden blocker remain exposed until it loses the power to hide again. The hidden blocker was not your lack of love. It was your fear of obeying love with boundaries. It was not your lack of faith. It was your fear that if you obeyed, God might not meet you on the other side. It was not your lack of calling. It was your fear of becoming responsible for what you heard. But God will meet you. He is already here. He was in the pause. He was in the closed door. He was in the uneasiness. He was in the repeated sign. He was in the quiet warning. He was in the Friday interruption that made you stop long enough to listen. You are not being punished by clarity. You are being protected by it. You are not losing yourself by obeying. You are returning to yourself. You are not becoming less loving by setting a boundary. You are becoming truthful enough for love to stop being mixed with fear. This is the release. The noise does not get the final word. The fear does not get the final word. The old wound does not get the final word. The person who misunderstood you does not get the final word. God gets the final word over your Friday. And His word is clear. Stop. Listen. Release the false confirmation. Return to the instruction. Guard your attention. Protect the inner room. Move only from peace. Refuse the noise. Trust the witness. Let clarity become your covering before the next door opens. You are not behind. You are being gathered. You are not rejected. You are being redirected. You are not confused because God failed to speak. You became confused because too many voices were given access to the place where only God should have been seated. Now the throne of attention is being reclaimed. Fear must step down. Guilt must step down. People-pleasing must step down. Old rejection must step down. The voice of God is taking its rightful place again, and your spirit knows the difference. This is why the atmosphere around you may change after this. Do not be surprised if you feel lighter. Do not be surprised if you feel quieter. Do not be surprised if certain conversations no longer interest you. Do not be surprised if the thing that once pulled you suddenly feels powerless. That is not numbness. That is release. That is the cord losing strength. That is your spirit no longer feeding what God has stopped blessing. That is the evidence that the instruction did not just enter your ears. It reached the place where agreement is formed. But there is one more part. Do not leave before the seal. A revelation without a seal can fade under pressure. A decision without prayer can be attacked by old fear. A moment of clarity must be guarded. In the final part, we will turn this Friday instruction into a declaration over your life. Stay close. The next part will bring the resolution, the prophetic covering, and the sacred seal. It will help you hold the instruction without panic, walk forward without confusion, and speak agreement over the exact clarity God has been restoring in you today. Chosen one, now let the instruction settle. Do not rush out of this moment. Do not treat clarity like a feeling that came and passed. God has been restoring your attention, and what He restores must be guarded with peace, prayer, and quiet agreement. This Friday was not sent to frighten you. It was sent to protect you. It was not sent to make you panic about every door. It was sent to help you recognize the one instruction that has been waiting beneath the noise, steady and patient, like a flame that refused to die. You have heard the command. Stop chasing confirmation from noise. Stop letting fear translate God. Stop giving access to voices that cannot carry the weight of your assignment. Stop calling confusion humility when your spirit already knows what heaven has been saying. Now comes the sacred part. You must not only hear the instruction, you must seal it. A revelation that is not sealed can be attacked by old habits. A moment of clarity that is not guarded can be buried again under messages, memories, demands, and emotional pressure. So breathe. Let the room become quiet. Let your shoulders lower. Let your jaw loosen. You are not fighting for clarity now. You are receiving it. You are not begging heaven to speak now. You are honoring what heaven has already spoken. God is not far from you. He was in the interruption. He was in the strange tiredness. He was in the pause. He was in the closed door. He was in the uneasy feeling you kept trying to explain away. And He was in the peace that came when you finally stopped forcing. You are not crazy for sensing the shift. You are not weak for needing quiet. You are not selfish for stepping back. You are not unloving for protecting the place where God speaks to you. This is maturity. And maturity often looks like silence before it looks like movement. Friday is bringing you back to holy simplicity. Not everything needs an explanation. Not every person needs a response. Not every invitation needs your presence. Not every pull deserves your energy. Not every door deserves your knocking, even if it looks familiar. There is peace in that. Let it come. You do not have to keep proving that you are good by staying available to what drains you. You do not have to keep proving that you are faithful by carrying what God already told you to release. You can love without leaking. You can forgive without reopening access. You can be kind without becoming controlled. You can be chosen without being exhausted. You can be sensitive without being unprotected. You can hear God without explaining His instruction to everyone who questions your quietness. That is the new place. It may feel unfamiliar at first. Your old patterns may ask for the old noise. Your hands may want to pick the phone back up. Your mind may want to replay the conversation. Your fear may ask for one more sign. But this time, you will not be ruled by that. This time, you will pause before reacting. This time, you will ask whether the pull is peace or panic. This time, you will remember that God does not need confusion to guide his children. The next 24 to 72 hours may feel different, not because you must chase drama, but because your perception is being cleaned. You may notice one sign you ignored before. You may see one person differently. You may feel relief where you expected grief. Do not be afraid of that relief. Sometimes relief arrives before your emotions catch up. Sometimes your spirit knows it is free before your heart has finished grieving. Sometimes peace comes quietly, and the old wound tries to call that peace betrayal. It is not betrayal, it is healing. It is your spirit returning to the Father. It is your attention coming back from places where fear scattered it. It is God showing you that you can release what hurt you without becoming hard, bitter, or cruel. A conversation may come. Do not enter it unguarded. A message may appear. Do not answer from guilt. A familiar pull may return. Do not confuse recognition with assignment. Something may try to test the boundary. This message just restored in you. When that happens, remember Friday. Remember this instruction. Remember the stillness. Remember that God did not interrupt you so you could run back into the same noise with a slightly more emotional prayer. He interrupted you so your next yes would be clean. Clean yes. Clean no. Clean silence. Clean movement. This is what God is forming in you. Not confusion dressed as compassion. Not fear dressed as wisdom. Not exhaustion dressed as loyalty. A clean spirit that can hear, test, receive, and obey. You are entering a quieter authority. It will not always look loud. People who measure power by reaction may think nothing is happening, but in the spirit, everything changes when a chosen one stops being governed by the need to explain. Your silence will become a wall. Your peace will become a witness. Your discernment will become a gate. Your obedience will become a seed. Your restraint will become protection. Your refusal to return to confusion will become a sign that the old cycle has lost its throne. This is why the enemy wanted you scattered. He knew your clarity would make you dangerous. Not dangerous in cruelty, dangerous to cycles, dangerous to manipulation, dangerous to false access, dangerous to every pattern that depended on you being too tired to hear God clearly. But you are hearing now. Maybe softly, maybe trembling, maybe with tears, but you are hearing. And a trembling yes is still a yes when it is offered to God. A small step is still a step when it is taken in obedience. Do not despise the small beginning. The door may not swing open all at once. The relationship may not make sense instantly. The instruction may not explain the whole future. But the first step has power because it shifts your agreement from fear back to heaven. Agreement matters. What you agree with begins to shape what you carry. If you agree with fear, your attention bends toward disaster. If you agree with guilt, your choices bend toward overgiving. If you agree with God, your spirit begins to stand again. So agree with God now. Agree that you are not abandoned. Agree that the pause was not wasted. Agree that the closed door did not mock you. Agree that your sensitivity needs protection. Agree that your clarity is worth guarding. Agree that you do not need to chase confirmation from noise. Agree that the instruction inside your spirit is not imaginary. Agree that peace is allowed to lead. Agree that obedience can be calm. Agree that Friday has become a line you will not cross backward. There is a door ahead, but you must not carry the old noise through it. There is a connection ahead, but you must not enter it with unhealed desperation. There is a provision ahead, but you must not receive it with the mindset that made survival feel like identity. God is not only opening something, He is preparing the person who can carry what opens. That is why the cleansing came first. That is why the silence came first. That is why the separation came first. Blessing without formation can become another burden. But you are being formed. You are being steadied. You are being taught to hear in a world addicted to noise. You are being taught to move without panic, wait without despair, release without hatred, and obey without needing the applause of people who did not survive your wilderness. There is a holy confidence rising. It is not arrogance. It does not need to belittle anyone. It does not need to shout. It is the quiet confidence of someone who has been corrected by God and still feels loved, exposed by truth, and still feels safe. That confidence will change how you respond. You will not answer every accusation. You will not chase every person. You will not explain every boundary. You will not keep sacrificing peace to maintain a version of you that other people found easier to access. They may say you changed. Let them. You did. God changed the room inside you. God changed the way you hear. God changed the way you interpret delay. God changed the way you treat your attention. That kind of change does not need to be defended. When God changes a chosen one, not everyone celebrates. Some people only understood you when you were tired. Some only felt safe with you when you doubted yourself. Some only called you humble when you gave them unlimited access to your energy. But humility is not self-abandonment. Love is not self-erasure. Obedience is not people-pleasing. Peace is not passivity. Stillness is not weakness. Silence is not defeat. You are learning the difference, and that difference will protect your next season. The next season requires a guarded ear. You cannot let every opinion enter. You cannot let every fear preach. You cannot let every old memory act like a prophet. You cannot let loneliness open doors that discernment already closed. You are too close to clarity for that. You are too close to a new rhythm. You are too close to a cleaner yes. You are too close to the kind of peace that will make old chaos feel unbearable, not because you hate people, but because your spirit has finally tasted alignment. That alignment is sacred. Guard it when you wake up. Guard it when your phone lights up. Guard it when someone tries to pull you back into a conversation that God already ended. Guard it when your own mind tries to create a reason to return. Write the instruction down if you need to. Keep it simple. Do not decorate it until it loses power. If God said rest, write rest. If God said release, write release. If God said wait, write wait. If God said begin, write begin. Then obey the next small step. Not the whole staircase, not the entire future, just the next small step. God often reveals enough for obedience, not enough for control. Faith does not require you to possess every detail before you move. Your control has been tired anyway. It has not brought the peace you wanted. It has kept your mind busy, but not free. It has made you feel responsible for outcomes that belong to God and available to burdens that were never assigned to your hands. Let control loosen, let peace lead. Let the Father hold what you cannot hold. Let your spirit stop acting like everything will fall apart if you obey the instruction God gave you. If He gave the instruction, He can sustain the consequence of your obedience. That does not mean everyone will understand. That does not mean every feeling will be easy. That does not mean the path will look smooth immediately. But it does mean you will no longer be fighting yourself while pretending to wait on God. Self-conflict is exhausting. One part says, obey. One part says, hide. One part says, release. One part says, check again. One part says, move. One part says, ask 5 more people. Friday, God is healing the split by calling your attention back to His voice. His voice brings integration. It pulls scattered places back together. It teaches your thoughts to serve peace instead of panic. It teaches your emotions to be heard without becoming rulers. It teaches your body that obedience is not always danger. Your body may need time. Be gentle with it. It carried survival for a long time. It learned to tighten when peace felt unfamiliar. It learned to prepare for loss. It learned to expect misunderstanding. But God is teaching even your nervous system that His voice can be trusted. So when peace comes, do not sabotage it. When quiet comes, do not fill it. When clarity comes, do not bury it under research, opinions, and endless second-guessing. Receive the peace like a gift from the Father who knows how tired you have been. You are allowed to be guided gently. You are allowed to stop living as if every instruction must come with terror. God can correct you without crushing you. He can redirect you without rejecting you. He can close a door without cursing your future. This is the heart of the Friday message. God did not interrupt you to take life from you. He interrupted you to return life to you. He did not silence the noise to leave you empty. He silenced the noise so his instruction could become audible again. Now let this become a prophetic covering over your next steps. You will not be ruled by panic. You will not be manipulated by guilt. You will not call every delay rejection. You will not call every intense pull divine. You will not let noise confirm what only peace can confirm. You will become slower to react and quicker to discern. You will become quieter in conflict and stronger in obedience. You will become less available to chaos and more available to God. You will stop treating your attention like it has no gate. The gate is being restored. The inner room is being cleansed. The old voices are losing chairs. Fear is leaving the table. Guilt is losing its key. Rejection is being removed from the interpreter seat. And the voice of God is becoming central again. This is not only about today. It will affect how you make decisions. It will affect who you answer. It will affect what you allow. It will affect how quickly you recognize counterfeit peace. It will affect how strongly you protect what God tells you in secret. Some of you will feel a shift before the day ends. Not necessarily outside first, inside. A strange calm, a willingness to let something be done. A release from a question that exhausted you. A quiet knowing that you no longer need to keep asking what God has already answered. Some of you will receive clarity in a dream. Some of you will see a repeated word again, but this time it will make sense. Some of you will wake in the early hours and feel no fear, only the sense that God is near and your spirit is listening. Some of you will have a conversation postponed, and that postponement will be mercy. Some of you will feel no urge to respond, and that restraint will be wisdom. Some of you will see a door open slowly, and this time you will not run ahead of peace. Let it unfold without forcing. God is not asking you to manage every sign. He is asking you to remain available. Available does not mean anxious. Available does not mean obsessed. Available means clean enough inside to hear, humble enough to receive, and steady enough to obey. This is where the final reminder belongs. If, while listening, your spirit recognized the need to support your clarity, the Genius song is linked in the description and pinned comment. Use only that original link, because the true version includes the 7-minute audio, the 4 bonuses, and the 90-day protection. Do not go searching random places. Do not let copies confuse you. Do not receive it from Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, or any page that is not connected beneath this message. If it is for you, move calmly. Let the tools support your attention, but let God remain the voice you obey. And if it is not your step today, stay in peace. This message is still for you. The command remains. Stop everything that steals your attention. Listen carefully. Guard your inner room. Return to the instruction. Let Friday become the line where confusion stops leading you. Now we seal this. If you can, place your hand over your chest. If you cannot, simply become still. Let these words rise from your spirit. Do not perform them. Do not rush them. Let them become agreement before God. Father, I receive your interruption. I receive your mercy. I receive your correction without shame. I receive your protection without calling it rejection. I receive the pause as a place where your voice becomes clear again. I release the noise. I release the fear. I release the guilt that made me answer what you never assigned. I release the need to explain every boundary. I release the habit of asking people to confirm what you already placed in my spirit. I renounce confusion as my guide. I renounce panic as my prophet. I renounce rejection as my interpreter. I renounce delayed obedience dressed as wisdom. I renounce every false agreement, that made me call bondage loyalty and call exhaustion love. I declare that my attention belongs to God. My inner room belongs to God. My next step belongs to God. My peace belongs to God. My Friday belongs to God. No false voice gets the throne of my discernment. I declare that I can hear the voice of my Father. I can recognize peace. I can honor warning. I can move when God says move. I can wait when God says wait. I can release when God says release. I can begin when God says begin. I declare that I will not chase confirmation from noise. The instruction God placed inside my spirit will not be buried under fear. My clarity is returning. My discernment is sharpening. My obedience is becoming clean. My peace is becoming stronger than my panic. I forgive what I need to forgive. I release who I need to release. I bless what God is closing, and I stop trying to force it open. I receive what God is opening, and I refuse to enter it with the old fear. I am not abandoned. I am being guided. I am not behind. I am being aligned. I am not rejected. I am being protected. I am not losing myself. I am returning to the person God formed before noise tried to bury my clarity. Father, seal this Friday instruction in me. Guard it from distraction. Guard it from old patterns. Guard it from guilt, pressure, manipulation, and fear. Let my yes remain clean. Let my no remain peaceful. Let my silence remain protected. Give me the courage to obey quietly. Give me the wisdom to test every voice. Give me the humility to receive correction. Give me the strength to stop explaining what you told me to guard. Give me peace that does not need permission from people. Let every counterfeit voice lose power. Let every false door lose attraction. Let every draining access point close. Let every holy instruction become clearer. Let every part of me that was scattered by noise come back into order under your voice. I receive the Friday shift. I receive the holy pause. I receive the clean instruction. I receive the restoration of my attention. I receive the courage to move from peace, not panic. I receive the grace to stop returning to what you ended. And I say yes. Not a loud yes for people, a quiet yes before heaven. Yes to clarity. Yes to obedience. Yes to protection. Yes to peace. Yes to the instruction. Yes to the Father who interrupted me because he loves me. Now take one more breath. Let that prayer settle. Something has been sealed. Do not rush to break the stillness. Do not immediately return to the same noise. Give your spirit a moment to understand that a line has been drawn. If this word witnessed to your spirit, write, Friday, I am listening, in the comments. Let it be your public seal, not for attention, not for performance. As a testimony that you heard the interruption, received the correction, and are choosing the voice of God over noise. And if this message helped you, stay connected. There are more instructions for this season, and not every chosen one will recognize them at the same time. But those who remain attentive will move differently, choose differently, and recover clarity before the wrong voices can pull them back. Do not leave afraid. Leave steady. Do not leave frantic. Leave clear. Do not leave suspicious of everything. Leave discerning. God did not speak to make you paranoid. He spoke to make you protected, peaceful, and awake. Friday, God speaks directly to you. He says, stop everything that steals your attention. He says, listen carefully to the instruction already planted in your spirit. He says, guard the inner room. He says, move only from peace. He says, I have not abandoned you. Carry that today. Carry it gently. Carry it when the phone lights up. Carry it when the old fear knocks. Carry it when someone questions your silence. Carry it when the door opens slowly. Carry it when peace feels unfamiliar but true. You are a chosen one. You are not ruled by noise. You are not owned by fear. You are not trapped in delay. You are being gathered back into clarity, and the God who interrupted you will also guide you into what comes next. So be still, listen carefully, Guard your peace. Obey the instruction. Let Friday become the day your attention returned to God, your confusion lost its throne, and your spirit finally said,